Welcome to our second battle report for Horus Heresy version 3. Steve and I got together again, so it's Space Wolves versus Night Lords. And I decided to create a new list for my Space Wolves, while Steve made minor changes to his Night Lords list. Just a heads up, I'm trying to include some video this time. We started off the battle with a near empty hall, but soon got flooded by magic players, so there's going to be a lot of background noise and some things. Also, I'm relearning this camera I used. It's smaller, supposedly easier to use. Some of the pictures and the video may be a little out of focus. Our mission objective today was the Take and Hold mission using Dawn of War deployment from the main rulebook. There are 2 objectives set up in the middle zone. Each objective is worth 3 victory points to start off with. These victory points are awarded to the controller of the objective in the victory point phase. After gaining the victory points, the objective drops in value by 1 victory point each time until the last victory point is awarded. At that point, the objective is removed. Okay, Space Wolves this turn. We've got a Praetor with a Greater Frostblade and Volkite Charger. We have a Speaker of the Dead with his Plasma Pistol. I have 2 squads of 10 Tactical Marines, each with the special communication guy. I can't remember his name. One has a power sword, one has lightning claw, and both sergeants have the plasma pistols. The one with the power sword has the prime option on it, so he's the improved sergeant. We have a unit of 10 slayers with 1 power fist, and the sergeant has a thunder hammer, and he's also primed out as well as the sergeant. We have 7 of the Deathsworn, and finally I have 2 land raiders for transport. Tell us what you got, Steve.
Just a actually fairly naked tactical squad, just 10 mans, no upgrades. Night Lords Protector squads, chain blades. The sergeant has the Extigan Power Claw, if that's how you pronounce it.
Okay.
10-man tactic assault squad, 2 power mauls. Master sergeant has lightning claws. They're my characters. Sorry, they're not WYSIWYG. This one's my chaplain with the jump pack. This is a praetor with a headsman axe, and this is a librarian with biomancy and telepathy, I believe. Okay. 2 rhinos, a rapier heavy bolter battery, predator with 2 las cannon sponsons, and a leviathan with siege claw and drill, with phosphex launchers and heavy flamers.
Hate you already. Yeah. So, Space Wolf deployments. In the leftmost ruin, we have the Prime Tactical Squad with the Speaker of the Dead. In the middle, I have the other Tactical Squad so they can provide fire support to both objectives. Land Raider with the Slayers and the Praetor in there. And on the far right, we have Land Raider with the Deathsworn. So, Night Lords, starting on their left, we have the Terminator Squad, a Rhino with Tactical Squad, a Predator with jump troops. I assume they're standing on the roof.
Well, they're in the train, so.
Okay. Rapier battery, preceded by a Leviathan, and an empty Rhino.
An empty Rhino.
An empty Rhino, okay. It'll be interesting. During the roll-off, the Night Lords got first turn, so unfortunately I had to sit back and wait to see what they did. And I also failed in my reporting duties, as I didn't get any pictures until after the Night Lords completed their first turn. So, what I remembered. The empty rhino moved forward on my left, firing at my first tactical squad with its Havoc missiles and Stormbolter. As well, the Rapiers and the Leviathan shot up the same squad, and the Wolf tactical squad ended up suppressed. The assault squad moved forward into cover behind the building in the middle, and finally the other rhino moved forward at maximum speed, unloaded its tactical squad, who also moved forward at their maximum speed, and they successfully captured one of the objectives. This got the Night Lords the 3 victory points, and the objective dropped in value to 2 victory points. I believe that the Predator hiding in the back also took a shot at one of my Land Raiders and managed to do some damage to that as well. Overall, not too bad damage for me, but I did lose 3 points off the first objective. Again, I didn't take pictures like I should have. I thought I had, but I didn't. So for Space Wolves turn 1, although they were suppressed, the first tactical squad on my left moved forward, preparing to charge the second objective should they ever get over being suppressed, and hopefully some support comes off to help get rid of those rapiers hiding in the field. Both Land Raiders moved forward, one with the Slayers unloading its cargo. The Slayers then ran forward to get in position to charge the Night Lord tacticals that were sitting at the objective. The tacticals in the center moved forward, ready to help out either team on either side of the central building next turn, as required. During the assault phase, the Slayers successfully charged the Night Lord tacticals on the objective and got them down to a single model. The single model failed its leadership and was routed and ran away. The Wolves elected to hold their position on the objective and grab the 2 victory points that remained, leaving only 1 victory point left on that objective. In Steve's turn 2, you can see in the corner of the photo, the Night Lord Terminators moved toward the Wolf Slayers holding the objective. I would be punished for what I had done. So for the Night Lord's second turn, in the movement phase, the Leviathan moved forward just outside of the second objective's range, so he couldn't claim it. The Space Wolf tactical squad in the center of the table decided this was a good time to use reaction and fall back. So after Steve's shooting phase, I've lost over half of my Slayers, but I'm still holding objective, although I suspect not for long. These guys are about to charge me, and they have Blood Rage on them. And his Psyker is charging my poor defenseless Land Raider. Meanwhile, over here, my roles have been terrible for leadership. This tactical squad with the speaker dead are falling back, so I'm not doing too good there.
Sticky notes and start putting them on.
And this Land Raider over here took 2 wounds and is suppressed. So they only get snapshots this turn. It was nice while it lasted, but I think this game's over at the end of turn 2. Okay, at the end of Steve's turn 2, the poor tactical squad in the middle got squashed completely. The Librarian, or whatever he is, went and chopped up my Land Raider, but he's still got 3 hull points left. In the objective, I managed to do more damage than they did to me. My poor Praetor is down to 1 wound. Technically, I won the combat because my Praetor was the only one there when we started and he didn't get killed. But the outnumber me becomes a draw, so we're stuck there. So it became my turn. I need to figure out... Oh, and the objective that was there disappeared because he claimed the last point that was there. That's it so far. Beginning Space Wolf turn 2. Okay, at the end of Wolf's turn 3.
Did you get a picture with the start?
I did, but it's the Deathsworn charged in. We killed off 4
light Terminators.
And he killed off 6 of the Deathsworn, which was enough to make both the Praetor and the last remaining Deathsworn flee. He decided to wisely fall back, or consolidate around the corner. We didn't bother trying to shoot those guys. My opinion, this is solidly into the Night Lord's turn, or game. Yeah, so we called this after turn 2. I've only got the Praetor and 1 Deathsworn, both are routed, so I have to try to recover them before the end of next turn. I got the 1 tactical squad still. The only thing that's really combat effective at the moment are the 2 Land Raiders. I forgot to roll to get rid of this status, but it doesn't really matter. I would be pulling back just to avoid the Leviathan, I think, and to get out of line of sight of that Predator. That Predator has been annoying. Steve still had the Rapier battery. Those Terminators were all dead. The Leviathan. This squad I really cut down this last turn in shooting, but they passed the morale test. And he's got a Psyker here with 1 wound. His Praetor is hiding behind the building without any wounds. Rhino's down 2 wounds. Predator has no damage on it at all. So, good game for Steve. So, another win for Steve and his Night Lords. Something to be expected, I think. I always have a hard time beating Steve. But let's go over some of the lessons I learned. First of all, Night Lords are evil, just like their fluff says. I can't say that they're necessarily overpowered when you consider what everyone else has, but just their flavor and some of the tactics and special weapons they have, they're just evil. Characters in Assault are nasty. This particular game, Steve and I chickened out when it came to doing challenges. I'm not exactly sure if we had any chance to really do any characters in challenge other than that last round with my Praetor against his Praetor in the middle of that objective fight. But the characters were the ones doing all the damage inside the assaults. So you may want to consider either putting multiple characters into a unit if you're going to assault with it, or find some way to tie up the character. Any weapon that can make you roll on status are to be feared. The Havoc missile launcher, the Flamers, all caused me problems. Those Rapiers, just with the sheer amount of casualties I suffered, made me have to do panic attacks. If you start failing those, it'll cripple your army very, very fast. That 1 tactical squad on my far left was basically stuck in some sort of status the entire game until the end of the 2nd turn. And by that point, the battle was already over. Tanks, tanks, tanks. Well, they're all pretty robust. We didn't lose any vehicles in this game, although most of them were damaged, with the exception of that Predator hiding in the Night Lord's back end. It's good to see that they're surviving more than they did last edition. Last edition, I could almost guarantee I was going to lose 1 tank per turn to some random roll that would pick explosion. So I really appreciate the fact that my tanks aren't dying like they did before. And again, weapons damage ratings are important, so pick your weapons for your squads very carefully. Make sure you have some idea how you're going to use those squads and those weapons. Things I think we need to test more, well, challenges. Steve and I chickened out this game. As I said earlier, I think there was only 1 chance we could have had a challenge, and Honestly, I can't remember if we agreed to not do a challenge or if we just both forgot. Reactions. I did screw up a couple times. I was supposed to not use reactions with the squad that had any sort of a status marker. As it was, I did waste a couple of reactions on that tactical squad that I shouldn't have been able to do because they were always under some sort of status marker. That could have helped me in the second turn when Steve went and moved up to my Space Wolves holding the objective. The Space Wolves have sort of a counter charge reaction, which I could have used if I had thought about it. So keep track of your reactions, make sure you're using them at the right time, and make sure you're not using them on the wrong squads, especially squads that have a status marker involved. So what did I think of the game? Though it was a quick game, only 2 turns before I seceded, it was definitely a fun mission. I can't blame Steve for me having to secede so quickly. I don't think he did anything wrong. I don't think I did anything particularly wrong. I think we just had that much bad luck on the Space Wolf side. I do have a deeper respect for flamers now. It was a weapon that I refused to acknowledge in the previous edition because it was too short ranged, and it didn't help me with my Space Wolves usually because I was either too far away or I was in close combat. I didn't want to use them. With the new fear factors involved or status factors, I would definitely consider adding a unit or 2. Shooting. Despite the fact that both of us were getting off the shots, Steve had more luck with his shooting, mostly because of the sheer volume of fire coming from the Rapier Heavy Bolter squad, and that really only affected the one squad he was shooting at. Everything else, there were plinking and plunking of the different squads and the vehicles, but nothing really killed anything. It came down to the assault phases that really won the game, and I think that's because you only have 4 turns and there's only 2 objectives. You have to go all out to get those objectives. As I mentioned earlier, vehicles are much more survivable this edition. They were just too vulnerable to a random 7 on the damage table in version 2. As you can see from this battle report, the Rhino or vehicle rushes are going to be back. Transports are much more important this edition, especially with the shortened number of turns in the game. You need to be able to grab those objectives as quickly as possible, and if they're in the center of the table or worse in the enemy's deployment zone, you've got to get across that table as fast as possible. Finally, one little tidbit: talk to your opponent at the beginning of the game and decide whether or not you're going to use the optional vehicle destruction rules at the beginning of the game. Rules as written: you're supposed to remove all models, and that includes vehicles, once they are destroyed. I do like the option of leaving wreckage on the table, but that can be a very big hindrance to one side or the other depending on what their army composition is like. So please, please, please do make a note with your opponents whether or not you're going to leave wreckage on the table or not when vehicles are destroyed. So that's it for this report. Hopefully I'll be able to get some more games in sooner rather than later, and we'll be able to get this to be a more regular reporting system. I hope you all enjoyed this. If you have any feedback, please feel free to leave notes. In the meantime, I hope your dice do better than mine did this game, and you all have a good day. Take care.